hit the jeweler, got some goals. I sold a little weed, but I could never sell my soul. And when I'm in LA, you find me out in Lil Toke. Come a vocal with my ramen, I'ma need another blow. Let's go.
To quote a great philosopher,
I say the whole world must learn of our peaceful ways. By force.
welcome to another episode of the M&K Productions podcast. I'm your host, Mac, joined here by a very giddy Miss Flamingo, aka Kristin.
Giddy.
Kristin, what is going on and what is happening?
So
why are you so giddy?
Are you just kidding? Calling me giddy because of the recent news I received in my life?
Yes. So here's a little life update, folks. I'll leave the floor to Miss Flamingo. So, Kristin, what is the little life news that you got?
The life update is, how do I say it? I'm engaged.
Aww.
I am engaged. I'm going to be a married woman soon.
Yes, she is.
Yes, my wonderful life partner now, Dylan. If you're listening to this, I love you, and I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you. And guys, I am no longer on the market or anything.
Well, she wasn't on the market. She wasn't on the market in the first place. Yeah, she was in the relationship. And they just tied the knot.
Yeah, we're going to be tying the knot soon. I'm now going to get married.
How does it feel?
It is like surreal. Like, I was very, very happy, and I cried a lot when my fiance did it. And it was like all like coming in as a rush, because when you're on the one end, getting the ring, you're just like feeling all these emotions. You're like, oh my gosh, like this is happening. Like, you don't like, I was crying tears, I was drinking champagne. It was a great day, honestly. And then in the end, I got to see some family after the proposal happened. It was a great and beautiful day. It was like one of the best days ever. I was truly, truly blessed, and I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with somebody who is like the best person.
Oh,
yeah, it's great. So yeah, Mag was actually one of the first people I got to text and let him know the news.
yeah.
And he called me right away from the restaurant. Guys, this is how great of a friend Mac is.
Yeah, we've been friends for
a while now.
About almost 3 years.
Exactly. And here we are talking about my engagement.
Yeah, so that's damn time. It's flying. Holy, that is wild.
It just flies, honestly, my guy.
I don't wanna be on the ground when the time flies. Had so many friends go, I wonder when it's my time. I live every day like I'll die by the nighttime. It took me so long getting back to my right mind.
But Kristin, what are we talking about on today's episode with this long ass intro that I have to edit?
Yeah, well, it won't be as long, folks, I don't think. Well, today we are going to be talking about some of the Don't Worry Darling drama and some D23, because D23 was this past weekend.
And some announcements were made that I liked, and some announcements were not made that I did not like. But that's neither here or there. Then we'll be getting into Paramount Plus's #1 stream movie of the past month, Orphan First Kill, which is going to be a direct sequel. It is a prequel/sequel to the 2010s Orphans, which we covered on last episode's podcast, episode 85, and then we'll be wrapping up with the M&K upfront and then see what's coming up for the next episode. So, Kristin, are you ready to go?
Let's do it.
So instead of getting right into the news, let's get right into some juicy drama. Okay, so this isn't news, just kind of like a quick little catch up of what we missed during our last between recordings. So first up, Kristin, what the hell is going on with your movie, Don't Worry Darling? You've been talking this movie up for about like a year now, and you're like, oh, I can't wait. I love Harry Styles. Olivia Wilde's gonna kill it. But then reports are coming out that she's messing with Harry. She's getting served papers on stage. Florence Pugh is like, F this, I'm done. And now Harry apparently spits on Chris Pine. Shia LaBeouf got dropped, Olivia saying Shia was difficult to work with, while Shia doing a reverse card saying that she's difficult to work with. And now currently, Don't Worry Darling critically is sitting at 41% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. So Kristin, what in the hell is going on with Don't Worry Darling with it being 1 week at this recording when it comes out on September 29th?
Victory is safe and secure.
They're lying about everything.
I've been waiting for someone like you to challenge me.
There's a lot. I don't know, where should we start with? What would you like me to explain first?
First, let's explain Olivia Wilde. For those who may not be movie nerds like us who watch a lot of movies, who is Olivia Wilde?
Olivia Wilde is an actress. She recently became a well-known director, previously directing the critically acclaimed indie darling hit coming-of-age film Booksmart. It earned some award recognition, and she turned out to be someone a lot of critics are a fan of, and some with audiences too. And she has her next film coming out, which is, like what we said, Don't Worry Darling. It's got a huge cast. Mac, I don't know if, like you said, we got the Harry Styles in it. We got Florence Pugh. Excuse me. We got Chris Pine. We got Kiki Lane, Gemma Chan, Chris Kroll, Nick Kroll, excuse me, Douglas Smith, Timothy Simmons, Kate Barlett. Oh my gosh, the list for this cast is kind of nuts. And Dakota Johnson was attached at one point,
but then she
to star. She ended up dropping out of the film due to the Lost Daughter filming, because when the Lost Daughter was being filmed, the Maggie Gyllenhaal movie, this Don't Worry Darling was also filmed at the same time. So Dakota dropped out, and Kiki Lane replaced her. So no drama there, but just wanted to point that out.
It would start to go downhill. Yeah,
this was starting to go downhill because originally Harry Styles was not the original casting for the character of Jack, and Jack is the character that Florence Pugh is married to in the film. And Shia LaBeouf signed on with Olivia, and it was first came about saying that like Shia was being a jerk to work with, and one of them being the reasons that at least Shia is now coming out to say he left the film due to the fact that there was not much rehearsal time.
That makes sense.
You always want to get enough rehearsal time so you can get into the headspace that you want as an actor. Like, I always believe in that. If you can rehearse as much time as you can, you do what you can. But Shia left because of that. There might be more reasons, but right now that was one of them. And that was being claimed. And then as the anticipation of the film getting released and having a big premiere at the Venice Film Festival that just happened, Shia wrote an article and had some emails saying that, explaining what was going on. And he had proof of a video saying that, of Olivia begging Shia to stay on for the film.
Oof.
Begging. And you hear Olivia Wilde say Miss Flo, it sounded like, she was basically begging Shia to stay on the film, giving him all this, some sweet talk, saying, kind of, at least I think, in the sense of saying Florence needs to grow up and just suck it up. And,
so pretty much shitting on your female lead.
Yes. And which is what we live in a post-female empowerment kind of thing to do. You don't do that. You don't want to squash another woman like that. And
especially with you being a director, that kind of shows that you're very unprofessional. If you want to throw one of the people that you helped, that you probably were like, that's the one I want for my role. Like, oh, she sucks. She's ruining it.
Well, she was hired because
Olivia
really liked her in Midsommar, which came out the same time Booksmart did. So with those being released around the same time, that was great connections because Florence was getting ready, and then Florence was getting like all of her hype set, and she was ready to go on her next film, and then Olivia was getting ready to direct her next film, which was this project. And just to talk really some not so much smack, but like it's not the way you would want to talk about your co-star, especially
No.
one who's very professional. And
it seems like out of all this, Florence is the only one that seems to be very professional. The whole thing.
she is the most professional out of all of them, and it was a lot. And I just want to say that in December of that year, of this 2020 happening of filming, Shia was sued by his former partner FKA Twigs, who accused him of abuse. And then at that summer, as of this summer, like right now, the case is set to go on trial in next April. So that was supposedly one of the reasons why, because I think you can actually also see the report that she made accusing of FK Twigs, because also around the same time, Shia was dating Margaret Qualley. If you guys know who Margaret Qualley is.
No.
Margaret Qualley is I believe Andy McDowell's daughter.
Huh.
So if you guys don't know that she is the daughter to Andy McDowell, and then when this breakup happened, that's when Margaret Qualley, like at the same time when Shia was left the project, Harry had to postpone his tour because of the pandemic. So Harry's home, not much to do. I had my tickets for this tour, and I was like, well, guess I'll see him next time. So everyone is still holding on to their tickets, and Harry goes on to do the film, and Harry's doing his thing. And at the same time, Olivia and Jason Sudeikis split up, and she starts to fall for Harry Styles, and that's when they become an item. And then in January, it was when Harry and Olivia were seen holding hands. They sparked dating rumors when Harry was attending a wedding. People were saying they looked good. At the same time, like, filming has already wrapped, and supposedly around this time, there was rumors that Olivia was so gung-ho into Harry that she didn't pay attention to what was going on set at times. So she would, I suppose, this is what I was getting off the articles. He would leave and, like, I guess go, hang around too much. And this is coming from to go be with Harry. And I'm going to read you guys off the report. This is the thing that comes from Complex magazine. And this part of this article goes, rumors of feud between Olivia and Florence start brewing in April of 2022. A fairly more recent development in the substantial hoopla surrounding Don't Worry Darling is the assumption by some that Olivia and Florence are not at odds, but have been for some time now. A key element for this discourse has been on social media activity of each other. Some had pointed out in the matter that Puth had promoted the film on her Instagram, including the brevity which she shared the Don't Worry Darling clip in the main timeline in August of that year, and the lack of promotion when the trailer dropped in April. An earlier post commending the production wrap of the film saw Puth giving the crew a moment to shine without the mention of Wild. So basically, when filming wrapped, there was acknowledgement of the multiple cast and the crew that worked on it. There's a lot of people who worked on this film. I'm talking about it now on my TikTok and sharing posts about it, and Olivia was not mentioned. Puth also appeared to acknowledge that a July 22 post from Wild praising her performance, bashing some speculation entirely on her IG activity, arguably Ludacious thought additional elements of speculations were later brought to this in a fold. As such talk and the connection with Puth not only attending the Venice Film Festival press conference, Variety reported that her limited time at the event was due to shooting commitments for the prior project for Dune, the sequel, as well as the LaBeouf drama. Basically, people were getting that, like, due to the postings, because Florence is very active on Instagram, was not giving the right attention to Olivia or acknowledging any work that Olivia did for the film. And you can see that because since the film premiered at Venice, Florence did not do any form of press coverage at all. She walked the red carpet with her grandma, which was really, really sweet. And she got to sit in watch the film with everybody. And you can see how far apart her and Olivia were. Like, Olivia sat on the way end while Florence sat on another end. So they were far apart from each other, which probably was a good idea. So there is one thing that of like Olivia not being the best director and not being on set and having some time with Harry, supposedly. Now going back to this past year, Olivia was served custody papers at CinemaCon.
Funniest moment of the year.
Which was the unexpected moment and the most outrageous thing to happen at CinemaCon.
Still funny. I don't care if you're like, oh, that's kind of like, that is like, if that's not like a big red flag that you're saying like, this movie's gonna suck or it's gonna have something attached to it, I don't know what it is.
Because the thing with this was, Olivia and Jason have 2 kids. They weren't officially married yet. They were engaged.
Yep.
She was served papers from Ted Lasso star. So the envelope, you can go see it online. The envelope said like personal and confidential. And you can see it, somebody hands her the envelope and she goes, "Oh, is this for me?" And she opens it and everyone thought it was like some kind of secret for the film. Maybe it was an exclusive image or maybe something that was going to go along with the film, maybe like something with the terms of prop, because at that time nobody knew what was going on with that film, but it wasn't. It was that. And Wilds later went on to say the serving of the papers called it a vicious act and questioned how the server was able to get into the event at all. So there was that. And
I just watched the video. It's still funny.
And there is Jason had no idea the papers were getting to her at that time.
My ass. That's too, that moment right there. That's too like, what's the word? That's too convenient to not be random. That was planned. There's no way. Because
here's the thing. We don't know what was happening behind closed doors. Maybe she was being a little rude to Jason and not being there on time to spend with her kids, because during this time too, right after filming had wrapped up, Harry went on to go on his tour. And I went to the tour. This is the 2021 tour. I didn't get to see him in 2022 yet. I'm very disappointed. But anyways, going back to this, she's going around all across the country with him, dancing around. There was, I think, one time it was shown one of her kids was at one of the shows, but she's going around dancing, supporting him, and it does not look good in Olivia's case, because you couldn't maybe questionably tell, like, was she there for her kids? Is she doing her job correctly? There was just like all this stuff that was like served with papers that could be going on. It's a lot, and you can tell how much time they were spending together. Like, they were always together.
Yeah. So to wrap it up, because we've been going way too long, no one's gonna want to work with Olivia Wilde after this, and this movie's turning up to be an absolute failure. Like, there is nothing, like, from getting served papers to like, there's no like doubt that they did something on set at least once.
Okay, so here's another thing too.
Oh my gosh,
there was like
there
is our alleged text messages between Florence and Shia that got released. So if you want to go look online, there's a lot of stuff happening still, and you can go look it up for yourself. The other big thing is that fans debated if Harry Styles spit on Chris Pine during the premiere.
So yeah, go check out Don't Worry Darling if you want a good laugh.
And as of right now, the spit did not happen. I'm still going to see the film, folks. I'm still going to see it.
Well, it's currently sitting at a 41% Rotten Tomatoes, and apparently got a 5-minute standing ovation at Venice. So who knows? But honestly, watching the trailer, this movie looks really boring.
Some people liked it. Some people got to see it early, and they are doing a special IMAX screening
Screaming.
happening on screaming. That's what everybody's going to be screaming at this point, saying, what's going on? But no, an IMAX screening on September 19th. I unfortunately am very sad I can't go to it, but I'm going to be seeing it opening weekend. As many of you who listen to this podcast or any individual who knows me knows how much I love Harry Styles, knows that I'm seeing that opening weekend. So because I am ready for this film, y'all. I am so ready to see this happen.
So my prediction is gonna blow, and no one's gonna want to work with Olivia Wilde because
the good thing is, I will say,
what is the good thing about all this?
There's so much drama. I feel like a lot of people are gonna go see it just because they want to know what's gonna happen with the aftermath.
If it sucks, they're like, wow, we just wasted money and time with this. So because I know this is probably like we're gonna try to get this to be an Oscar film, and no, it's gonna be nominated for something. Razzie Award, worst director and worst movie.
You know, do you know what's funny?
What?
Because the other thing that came out was that like how Olivia commented saying like, "Oh, bad directors direct like bad movies." Yep, and here we are in this situation, and supposedly too, Florence had to direct some of the scenes.
Yep, that's what I heard too.
And yeah, there's more drama. If you all want to look at it, go search it. There's a great Complex article magazine that breaks down just enough to explain it, just in little details about the explanation of things. I feel like I did an okay job explaining it.
Yeah, well, good job.
Did I do good?
Yes, you did. You took a long time, but it's fine.
Okay, good.
But anyway, moving on from spitting and 39-year-old women trying to be 20s fawning over a British guy, let's talk about D23, Disney's Expo, showing all of their upcoming stuff and projects is happening. And Kristin, a lot of stuff got revealed and a lot of stuff didn't get revealed. One of the big things is that no Fantastic Forecast news. What the hell, guys? But anyway, I am so excited because the director of Fantastic Four is Matt Shakman. Now, if that name doesn't sound familiar to you guys, he's directed some episodes of Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So for me, I think this is a win because the whole meme going around like cast everyone from Always Sunny in Philadelphia as a cast of Fantastic Four. So I feel like this is a good meme win for me. But we still didn't know who's going to be Doctor Doom. There's rumors going around that it's going to be Henry Cavill, aka Superman. So that could be interesting. John Krasinski is also a name being thrown around for Mr. Fantastic. John Boyega as Human Torch, so that'll be interesting. But also, we got the lineup for the Thunderbolts movie coming July 26th in 2024. It's going to have Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Wyatt Russell, Florence Pugh, we just discussed, David Harbour, Sebastian Stan, Hannah John Kim, and Olga Kurylenko.
I'm happy to see Sebastian Stan and Florence Pugh return.
Yeah. So what do you know about the Thunderbolts?
Not much, but I'm just ready to I'm just ready. It's because I know it's going to be super dark, given the fact that it's got, Red Guardian and Winter Soldier. I'm just ready for something.
Well, the thing is, the Thunderbolts is the Marvel's version of Suicide Squad.
So that's it? What, we some kind of Suicide Squad?
That's what I was afraid of, and that's how I knew it was going to be.
So someone's going to die.
No, don't say that.
Then that's in the Marvel space. Also, crowd saw new footage of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumanium, and apparently,
which I'm very jealous about.
They saw what MODOK is going to look like in his MCU debut, which is interesting. So, Kristin, are you excited about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumanium? Do you think
I'm very excited.
Do you think it being the first Marvel movie of Phase 5, and because let's face it, I just did a review of Thor: Love and Thunder. Phase 4 has kind of been weak. Like the only good film has been Spider-Man, and like the TV shows have been lackluster, the movies have been lackluster, and we got one more coming out in November of Black Panther. So, do you think Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumanium will help give a good fresh start into Phase 5?
I'm hoping it could save it. I'm hoping it could save it because the cast of Going On Alone. Who doesn't love Paul Rudd as this character? I'm obsessed with Ant-Man and this character. So he's like one of my top 10 favorites in terms of the MCU characters. Like when first Ant-Man appeared, nobody loved him as much. Now everybody loves him. Nobody was rooting for my man. Nobody was rooting for Scott. And I had a lot of faith in him. and now he's got his daughter along, and I'm ready for it. And I think he's gonna do really, really well. And I think the direction that they're gonna do with it, everybody's back, and knowing Bill Murray is attached to this, I'm ready for this. This is gonna be great. I think this will be something that could save it.
Possibly. Then with Lucasfilm, they showed a trailer for Indiana Jones 5, which is Harrison Ford's last outing as Indiana Jones, which I'm really excited about. Scared but excited. Then we got a trailer for Willow, the remake of the original 1988 Ron Howard film based on George Lucas property.
Yeah, which I don't care about that one.
Yeah, no one really cared about that. And then with 20th Century, they had a lot of footage from the new Avatar movie, which I know Kristin is definitely excited to see the new Avatar movie, right, Kristin? And that just comes off the heels of James Cameron saying Avatar 4 has started filming.
Oh, Lord.
And the second one hasn't even come out yet. So are you excited for Avatar 2? 13 years later?
No.
Yeah. Oh, don't forget, everyone. Avatar, the first one, is going to be released in theaters on September 33rd. So you get tickets now. And on the Disney live action
Or don't. I won't be.
On the Disney live action front, they announced that Barry Jenkins, the Oscar-winning director of Moonlight, will be doing Mufasa, the Lion King, which is a sequel to the Lion King, but it is a prequel following Mufasa. I'm not excited for that. I hated the Lion King live action.
Who asked for this? Literally, no one. No one. This is like they're still going into the realms of let's explore the villains again.
Yeah. Well, no, Mufasa isn't the villain.
Mufasa or
that's Scar.
Scar. Oh no.
Jesus.
I mixed them up.
You are not a 90s kid. And now
I am a 90s kid, but I just screwed it up.
We got the first teaser trailer for the live action Little Mermaid with Halle Bailey, and my God, that looks terrifying.
You're the only person I've heard to say that.
Because it looks scary. She looks terrifying she looks like a fish. She's
a fish.
No, her face is just the way it's no offense, because I think she is a tremendous performer. I've heard some of her stuff. I'm like, okay, I think she can do well. But it's just she looks terrifying, and like the whole red clashing, it's just like it doesn't look right. It looks like one of those like Shark Week parodies with like mermaids, like, oh, it's a fake mermaid sighting. One of those things.
I think it looks pretty promising. I think. I'm just hoping it doesn't turn out like garbage.
It has a 50-50 chance of being it.
Because I don't want another Beauty and the Beast situation where that ended up like in the depths of fire, which everybody seemed to have liked. Like all the mainstream people who love Disney liked it. The true fans, I feel like the new one, it was trash.
I'd rather watch.
Did not like it.
I'd rather watch Lion King than Beauty and the Beast, the live action one.
Yeah, it was not good, and that I could say the same thing for the Lion King. It was not good either.
Then on Disney Plus, they new trailer came out for Hocus Pocus 2, which is set to be premiering on September 30th of Disney Plus. Then we got the first trailer.
Can I just say, are you gonna watch the new Hocus Pocus film?
Maybe.
I don't really care that we're getting it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I really didn't watch the first one enough as a kid for the nostalgia to set in, but it's kind of cool. I like the first one.
Love it as much. Like I really want to watch it for Hannah Waddingham, who is in Ted Lasso. So I'm probably gonna watch it for her. I don't care about the nostalgia factor for Hocus Pocus. Because I grew up with it, but I just didn't love it as much as other kids. Like I was like, okay, it's on.
Me either. Then next up we have Disenchanted, the long-awaited sequel to Enchanted. Actually, funny enough, you're excited. I talked to a lot of my friends; they loved the first trailer. They did not like this trailer.
Patrick Dempsey. Oof, he looks good.
I'm excited. I like the first. Enchanted was like one of the movies I was like, oh, this is actually really funny. I actually liked it, and I think it's been a movie they should have made. They should have made the sequel for years before, but hey, better now than never. It'll be on Disney Plus on November 24th. Then we're
Be
getting
great.
Peter
think
Pan.
Can I just say this now? I think in advance. I think we should review it for the podcast.
Noted. Then we're getting Peter Pan and Wendy, which is, whatever. Animated films. We're getting a Pixar movie coming out in June of 2023. It's called Elemental, which looks like Inside Out but with elements. Then we're getting
And Inside Out too.
Yes, Inside Out too. And then we're getting in November, it's called Strange World, which it looks cool. That's really it.
And Jake Gyllenhaal's going to be in it.
Is he?
Yes, he is.
Who is he?
He's the father in the film.
I don't even know what that movie's about.
Let's take a quick look.
Then in television for Marvel, we have Ironheart, Secret Invasion, which got its trailer with Sam Jackson coming out next year. Armor Wars with John Cheadle. Loki, which has the season 2. Echo with returning members Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin, and I believe Charlie Cox as Daredevil. And speaking of Daredevil, we got Daredevil Born Again, which is a reboot. It is not a continuation of the Netflix show, which I see as very disappointing. And then we got Werewolf by Night, the Halloween
Marvel
event. Horror. Yeah, Marvel event. So
which is one of the most unexpected things.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that a real character from the comics?
I don't know, because I don't know anything about it, but I'm very.
I know Man Thing is in it, so I'm excited. I like Man Thing.
I'm very intrigued by it, and I am gonna watch it for sure.
Then with Lucasfilm for television, they released the final trailer for Andor, which is with Diego Luna, coming out September 21st on Disney Plus. A new trailer for season 3 of The Mandalorian's coming out. Star Wars: The Bad Batch season 2. I'm excited for. Is coming out, and the Tales of the Jedi animated anthology series is coming out October 26th. Then on Disney Plus, we got Big Shot season 2, American Born Chinese, The Muppets Mayhem, National Treasure: Edge of History. That doesn't have Nicolas Cage, so I'm not interested. Proud Family: Louder and Prouder in season 2, The Santa Clauses, a new series with Tim Allen coming back, a Zootopia short form series was coming out on November 9th, and then we got a few other stuff that really nobody cares about. But Kristin, what was your favorite announcement from D23?
Oh, besides the Thunderbolts not knowing anything, which got me really, really excited because of the cast and just the characters that are going to be in it. I want to say, I don't know. There was probably a Disenchanted.
Okay, I can see that. I think for me, my favorite announcement had to be my favorite announcement would probably have to be. I gotta think about it. I think Inside Out too, because I wasn't expecting.
Oh yeah,
that.
Inside Out too. Yeah, that one is a close second.
I love Inside Out, but now I've noticed that a lot of people are saying, "Is it as good as we remember?" It's like, no, I still cry. It's still good.
Still just as good.
My question is, what would you do for a sequel though? That's my only question.
Well, Riley's going to be a teenager, and that's what's gonna happen, and new emotions are gonna pop up.
Okay, that makes sense. But and here I'll ask the opposite of the spectrum. What was your least favorite announcement of D23?
Oh gosh. You go first. What was your least?
Little Mermaid and Mufasa.
Okay, mine is not that. It would have to be I guess maybe. Oh, one other shout out I wanted to announce is that Loki 2.
Yep, I says Loki season 2.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know. I guess it would have to be one of the Star Wars stuff because I'm just so over it. Because I did see.
You don't like Andor?
I just don't care anymore. I think I'm just over Star Wars at this point.
You're not gonna watch season 3 of Mandalorian?
Oh, I am. I love The Mandalorian. I think we just need a break, and that's where I'm seeing the tiredness of my Star Wars hype come in.
Mm-hmm.
And I am just like, I think the other thing is the Muppets. I don't care about the Muppets anymore.
Yeah.
And knowing that Liza Koshy is part of it now, the mix of it, I'm just like, not Liza Koshy, Superwoman, was it Lily Sai? Remember her from YouTube? She had her own late night show at one point.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's going to be hosting stuff with the Muppets, and I'm just like, everybody tried to do so much with the Muppets recently, and everything just didn't work out except for like the Muppets Haunted House, but everything else, like the shows that they done, it hasn't worked out. So I don't know why they keep pushing the Muppets.
Well, what can't be solved with Muppets, I guess. But let us know in the comments down below what D23 announcement had you excited, what D23 announcement had you rolling your eyes, and what project did you have hopes to get some love but they didn't? Like example, Fantastic Four, but we'll leave it at that because maybe they want to make a big splash in announcing it. Maybe they want to be hush hush about it. But with that out of the way, I think we should probably move into the topic. Orphan, first kill.
Be specific. Does she seem the same as you remember, or different?
Something's going on with Esther.
It's more than that, Mother.
That's exactly what I'm afraid of. Esther's behavior has been so erratic.
Who are you?
My name is Esther.
Orphan First Kill. Rated R. Now streaming on Paramount Plus.
Okay, guys, let's move into today's topic. Today, we are taking a focus on Orphan First Kill. All right, so the new movie. After orchestrating a brilliant escape from Estonia, a psychiatric facility, Esther travels to America by impersonating the missing daughter of a wealthy family, and that being Teresa Albright, that being Julia Stiles, who plays Teresa Albright. And if you guys know, this is the prequel to the Orphan film, which came out a couple years ago, 2009, 2010, around that time. It's directed by William Brent Bell. William is known for directing a couple different films, including Brahms 2, The Boy, The Devil Inside, Stay Alive. And this film is I can't talk, guys. I'm so sorry. This film is actually doing surprisingly pretty well. Critics have like it at the moment. Right now on IMDb, it is sitting at a 6.0 out of 10.
It's not bad. Is that higher than the original movie?
I don't know, but right now,
Let me see.
as in terms of a Metacritic score, it is sitting at a 54. Not that's Metacritic score. I feel like
what's the Metacritic score for the first kill?
54.
It's the original one's at a 42 critic score, but an 8.6 user score.
Okay, and then we have for on IMDb, it's a 0.6 out of 10. And then in terms of Rotten Tomatoes, it's pretty high.
What is it?
It's in the 70s which is surprisingly because the first film has a Rotten score, which is, we said it last time. I forgot what it was. It
is currently sitting at 58%.
58. This one's sitting at a 74. So it's pretty certified. And as in terms of the audience score, it's 77. So that makes it certified then.
So I think, and it also is the number one streaming movie on Paramount Plus for the
it's one of the top ones. It's one of the top ones.
So I think my feeling with Orphan First Kill, we talked about it. We hinted at it in the last episode. I always say this. When they first announced, hey, we're gonna do a sequel / prequel to the first Orphan, I was like, why? Like, we know what happens in the first movie. And I was like, this girl, Isabel Fuhrman, like, she's a good actress. I thought she really did a great job in the last movie. I just thought, like, man, what can you do? Like, she's older now. She's like she's 25. Like, you're gonna de-age her for this prequel movie,
which they did.
Yeah, and I'm like, what can you do with this? Because spoiler alert, in the first movie, she died. So, like, what are we gonna do? And
they decided we're gonna go back to her roots and see her take on one of these families.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, but I had a good time with this. I was scared because when I first saw the poster and trailer, my nightmare was like, oh no, they're pulling a Strangers. They're gonna make the second one all stylistic and glamorous, like in Strangers Prey at Night. How the first movie was very laid back and like calming, and then they went for the 80s aesthetic vibe. I was like, oh no, they're gonna do this Orphan First Kill, but nope, they did a good job with it.
It was pretty yeah, the Strangers Prey Night was pretty ridiculous, but in this one, in terms of a prequel and setting up another world for Esther,
Mhm.
it it was pretty well done. I was actually pretty surprised. I was thinking to myself, what if this film was like released right after, like they filmed this movie like in 2019.
20 they filmed it in November to December of 2020.
Oh, November to December. Okay.
They announced it in 2020 of
29.
February under the name Esther.
Okay. So I definitely got that wrong. Okay, so my apologies. So 2020. So this was actually so in that sense, good movie to film over the pandemic.
Mhm.
Because the cast itself, it's pretty small. There's not much going on that would have to revolve around it itself. But I was thinking, what if they filmed this earlier instead of like having it done so many years later? I guess they needed time to come up with the story for Esther and figure out where her roots were coming from. But I didn't think that was the case. If this film maybe came out like a couple of years ago, it's fine. But
well, you gotta wait for nostalgia to kick in at the right time.
Yeah, because that is true. Because most of the audiences that at least you and I grew up with are in our 20s now, and know Esther. Like most of the audiences were scared by Esther. Like I remember Miley Cyrus saying, like, "Oh, that's the girl who scared me." Like if you go online, there's a clip of Miley Cyrus saying, "Oh, this is the girl from the Orphan that scared me," or there's audiences who grew up with Esther and this young actress, and it's not doing great in the mainstream box office right
well,
now.
I feel like my thing with like that is like it's kind of good it went to Paramount Plus, because I feel like if this was released more in theaters, people would have actually like not wanted to see, like, who cares. But this is more for like horror fans that liked it, and it's like it's easy accessible movie. If you have Paramount Plus, you see, oh, it's new movie, it's number one, I'm gonna pop it on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I was entertained to say the least for it. And I do have to say, out of William Brent Dell's category of filmography, this has to be his better film to date because everything that he's directed.
Oh, you don't like The Boy?
Good. Oh, do I like The Boy? Do I like The Boy? Are you really gonna ask me that question?
And you don't like Bram's The Boy too?
I didn't even see The Boy sequel.
I forgot there was even a sequel. I was like, why is this? I think I remember I said, why is it called Bram's?
I just was like, why is Katie Holmes here?
Money.
True. She's got to come up with some money now, knowing that she's not part of the Scientology crew anymore.
But you know what's interesting about Orphan First Kill? I'm reading now is that apparently they didn't even do any CGI to de-age Isabel. They just did. She just has a young looking face at 25 years old, and I envy that.
Well, they did practical effects.
I'm impressed with that.
It says on the third paragraph in the Wikipedia page, says some critics have praised the film's twist practical effects in regard to de-aging Furman, Isabel, without CGI, which I thought there was. I guess
that must be like whoever was.
So I must apologize when I said that in the beginning. So I'm so sorry, folks. So
the makeup artist was on point. Like, damn, they did good.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it probably won't get nominated.
No,
in terms of an Oscar.
But like, okay, so obviously this movie is a prequel to the first one, where we see the origins of what led Esther to the events of the first movie. So we kind of see like that origin story. I can't believe an origin story for a horror movie like this, but yeah. Do you feel that this movie is stronger than the first one, or is it in the same realm or lower?
I think it's in the same realm. Because I do think the first one had much more like film, like scariness factor building out. This one is a little more style to it.
Mm-hmm.
I think in terms of what it wanted to be and have a constructed story, but it is a little inconsistent at times.
Yeah, I can see what you mean by that.
And I felt that they really kind of took some kind of creative differences here, especially with in terms of the story. And I feel like we should get into the story a little bit more
Hmm.
in order to do that. And in this film, uh, Esther, is able to get out of the facility that she's in. She gets adopted by Julia Stiles and her family, and her family's a little crazy. I
Yes.
think it's fair to say we can spoil a little bit, but not too much.
Yes, this is still relatively new, like a month old. So we'll keep spoilers
We'll
like.
I'll tiptoe around it. So, Esther becomes part of this family who lost their daughter. It's not said how in the trailer, so I think that's fair game. And becomes part of this family. The father is an artist who is played by Rossif Sutherland, who plays Alan Albright,
Mhm.
and she is able to connect with the dad in the art. And Julia Stiles starts to suspect something. They have a son, and he's a little not right. His name is played by Matthew Finlan, who plays Gunnar Albright,
Yep.
who's like into fencing, and he's got the partying and the not so nice friends who make fun of Esther. And then there's something that comes to light, and it causes a shift. And this is when Julia Stiles and Esther start to rely on each other. And the way they have to, like, not just, I want to say team up together, but how they almost become at war at each other. It's very, very entertaining.
It is.
And I wish I could explain the scene that really caught my interest. And I have a feeling once that moment kicks in, I think it's about like 45 minutes in, that's when it really turns my interest. And I think that's one of the issues, is because it took me a while to be like, get really invested in this film.
I always say, did you feel like it was a little bit more it was a little bit more comedic than the first one? Because I've heard a lot of people say like it looks more funnier than like a little bit, like it has some more style, I'd say.
I think in terms of comedic moments, I think they added to give Esther a little bit of charm to her, to make her funny or at least likable. What goes on the road with audiences, but you don't want to root for Esther given who she is and what she's done in the past. So I was kind of like laughing at some points. She tells a guy to, eat his balls or something. Like, if you remember, like,
Yeah.
she says something in Russian. And maybe it's funny, I guess. Like, I didn't really laugh. Or just, maybe it has like those little comedic moments, but I don't know. Did you think it was funny?
Yeah, I did. Especially some of the kills. I thought I was laughing, like the part with the the fencing sword when she killed someone with the fencing sword. I was like, okay, that's pretty. I was laughing. I should have not laughed with that.
Well, I think it's pretty ironic given what happens with that kill scene. So I was like, huh, it makes sense given that person's character. But yeah, and it's a little bit crazier because it did reminded me in ways of like how the first one ended, especially at the end a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah, because the ending, I got a little vibes. Remember that movie, The Stepfather, back in 2009?
Yes.
That's what the ending reminded me of. Like, oh no.
Yeah, that's what it kind of reminded me of too.
Well, the thing is, like, when you make a prequel movie, you know what the end result's gonna be. It's just a question of how you're gonna get there. So I think that's the problem that they have when they did this movie. Like, okay, the audience who's seen the first movie, and probably since both movies are on Paramount Plus, they probably rewatched the first movie and like, okay, they know what's gonna happen, how she got to the point where she was in the first movie. How are we gonna set that up for another narrative film that's supposed to be a prequel, and we know what's gonna happen in the next movie?
Mm-hmm. And I would have to say some of the direction is good. And there's like, I'm reading going, like, as we're talking, some of the IMDb reviews.
What do we
This
got?
person gave the film a 3 out of 10, unnecessary and directionless, What is even the point of this? How on earth are you going to make a prequel with the original cast member being 12 years older? Having a prequel to it's like having a prequel to Home Alone with Macaulay Culkin, just in his 20s, just he was a younger actor. Do we need to go back to Sweet Home Alone? This kid, this person does not understand what happened if we use that. I spent the first 30 minutes constantly asking myself, what the heck is going on? No, I don't think you were watching the movie.
Yeah, I don't think you were watching the
As I
wrong
generally
movie.
had no idea what I was watching. Were you watching another thing? I couldn't stop laughing at the obvious real child that they used for the shots of Esther from behind. Oh my gosh, this person went on to say, I could not stop laughing. The movie went absolutely nowhere. I feel why I would have been more successful with a sequel instead of a prequel. This person obviously did not watch the first
I don't think they
film
watched the first movie. Like, I don't know.
instead of a prequel. I guess the explanation wraps up everything up neatly in a bow. But now they've not left much opportunities to continue the franchise, whereas a sequel would. Yeah, you didn't watch the first one.
No, I don't know.
The twist is hella stupid, and he wrote it STOOPID. IDK, and all in all, it wasn't great, watchable, but not great. I just don't think we needed a prequel, as it doesn't really change, explain, affect anything in the first film. Anything from the first film.
Well, I mean, I guess with this, like, I can see what he's coming from. Like, the rest of the reviews ass, but I can kind of see what he's going from the ending, because it's like I said, if they didn't have her die in the first movie, if it was still to the point where it was successful, that it was going to be something after it. If it wasn't a prequel, it was going to be a sequel. But I feel like a prequel was kind of cool to see how we, like I said, got to that point. Because, would you say that maybe she was different in First Kill, like from the beginning to what she ended up being as what we saw her in the first movie?
Yeah.
Or would you say that she's the same character? Like, was there character evolution that you can feel you place from First Kill to the first one?
Actually, not really. I think a little bit, not so much, but she just has the continued anger that she has and not sense of belonging or family. It just shows it's that continuation here, because she always never had that family or never felt the idea of being loved, I guess, and or loved by a fatherly like creature. I think what would have been better is if we got a story of not just her as like being with a family. I think it would have been a little bit more interesting if we got to see where her home life was.
Yeah, like how did she get to that point of what in the beginning of the prequel movie? Because it hints at it a little bit, which I thought was kind of cool, but I'm like, I want to know like what made her to the point of like being crazy.
Yeah, because she falls, she has a thing for dads. And I want to know what happened that made her click to be like, oh, I want to be with a dad.
I need to get some dad
and be
right?
young and dress up as a young girl. Like you can see that because in the beginning when she escapes, she turns the prison guard on to escape, by being her like little young girl like self, which is kind of creepy.
Yeah, that's I got a little comfortable watching that.
And I was just like, we're gonna go here, but she kills the police, the security guard, but it was like I wanted to see more. I think more at the beginning what drove her to be crazy, and this is just, I guess, another story of it, but without her dying.
I'm hearing rumors that they might actually do another movie like in the universe like this. Would you want to see more from the Orphan universe, or do you think it's like, all right, it's done, let's not do this?
I don't think we need another one, honestly.
Like, do you think they could be like another like an anthology series where it takes place in the same universe but in like a similar story, and it's like different Esthers running around?
What if Esther had a brother?
Oh God, if they reunite
and they could be like, we need to have a mommy and daddy together.
Ugh.
Like imagine that. All right, I came across another review.
Please
on IMDb.
Read this and then we'll give our ratings.
This one is called Inconsistencies from the sequel to original. I don't know what happened in the prequel, to be honest. It should really be done as the first installment. 1, the Albrights should have been Sullivans as mentioned in in the original? 2, where was the scene with the schoolboy and the scissors, as mentioned in the original?
Mhm.
It seems like the poor recollection to me and the people responsible for continuity. I think making more would be a mistake. The girl who plays Esther Lima is brilliant, but she does look a lot older now. Not that she doesn't
It's
really work hard,
time. What can
and
you
making more
do?
films from her past to foster home antics. Also, why was it filmed in almost? Why? Okay, let me start over again. Why was it? Also, why? I can't talk. Also, the way it was filmed almost seemed like it was in a fog of white mist. Excuse me, which was off-putting. I could see where they were going with this,
Mhm.
and especially where they said that the Albrights should have been the Sullivans, because if you remember, there was another family first before the Albrights. So it would have been, in this case, it goes Albrights, maybe Sullivans, and then
You got it.
hold on, I'm having a brain fart. So it goes, oh my god, I lost my train of thought.
It's
It
okay.
goes, oh, Coleman, thank you. That's what the last name I was going with, because it goes Albright, Sullivan, Colvin. But in this case, it goes Albright. We skip the Sullivans, and then in that case, most people would think it goes to the Colemans. So this is just one of the instances of families that Esther gets placed in, but we don't know how Esther gets into the foster care right before the Colemans bring her in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like I want to know more about that. Like I can see what they mean by the direction being a little bit weak because
So maybe if they just would have changed that around, if the last name would have worked out, that probably would have been great. But then it was already explained in the original what happened, though, with a little bit with the Sullivans. So there was like a little inconsistencies with that, but yeah, so for true fans, I feel like of the original, I feel like this is like not as quite as great as like most people would hope, like this in terms of way, I guess, how a lot of Scream fans loved the original, the
yeah,
new one. This is the case, I feel like, with some people who thought in the terms of the new Orphan film,
I can
where
see
those
that.
consistencies weren't as met or some of the hype was just enough. I think it was just good enough, or it was just as good.
I feel like this movie was more for like the fans who actually like were excited to see it.
Yeah, and I feel like they could have done more with this. I think a little bit if they had time to explore, but I feel like they were kind of like rushed it, even though it was like so late to the game to film this.
Yeah, because it's like I mean, like I said, they're lucky Isabel Foreman has a young face, so they can get away with that.
So
But
that's why
I think
that's why they filmed it so early.
yeah,
Like,
and
I
I
mean,
think that
so before she gets into her 30s and is
oh
looking
yeah,
like this.
I don't know, but she's aging good. That's it. And I guess it's just like I guess 10 years was enough for like, hey, is good enough to just get away with it, I guess. But what would you give this movie?
Mm, I think I give it like either a 5 or 6 out of 10. It's not
Really?
maybe a 6, because I don't love it as much, because it really took me some time, I think, for me to find myself invested with the film. Like I said, this film didn't really click for me until about like once the events of Julia Stiles happening.
Okay, I can understand that.
And you know what I mean when I'm saying that. For
Yes.
those who have seen the film, you can tell I'm not going into extreme detail with this. But and that's about like 30, 40 minutes into the film. So it took me some time to get like, all right, we're going to get somewhere here. But I like the performances of Julia Stiles and Isabella, Esther, and I'm not crazy about Matthew Fillion, who plays the Gunner, the son in the film. But
It was
I
over
think
the
it was
top.
servable. Yeah, it was a little bit over the top. I think he really oversold it. I think it was just enough for a 90-minute watch, because it is like it's only like an hour and like a half.
Uh-huh.
So it serves its runtime, but I just thought it was just average, you know?
Yeah, I can see what you mean by that, but I think I'll probably give it like probably the same rating. Like, would it be in my top 10 worst movies of the year? No, I actually had fun
No,
with
it's
it.
definitely not worse.
Is
It's
that would it be in
definitely
the
not
best?
bad.
Would it be a best? Maybe like honorable mention or like number 10 if I'm being like generous.
Yeah, I just don't see. And then if they're gonna make a next Orphan film, I think they should make it fast while the cooker's hot.
Or maybe do it where like Esther becomes older and has her own kid.
Well, Esther can be older because Esther is dead.
Oh yeah, that's true. I forgot. Or like maybe it's revealed she has a kid.
I don't know. I think that's a little extreme.
Okay, yeah, going too far.
Yeah, I think if we're gonna do something, make her where we see her, like I said, like as a child, where she grows into where she is, because like she is an adult, so we want to see her as a child, I think. And I think they could mess around with that, giving her how young she still is, you know.
Shoot, yeah.
So that's what I think.
I'm sorry. I was doing more reading about it, and it's just interesting. It's like I don't know, but
yeah, no, be very interested. It was a good conversation.
So,
So it was good.
we recommend Orphan First Kill if you since it's spooky season like a month, if you really just want to have fun with a horror movie, definitely watch this. I'd say.
Yeah, and let us know what you guys thought of it.
Yeah,
You guys watched it.
And did you like the first Orphan film? Let us know in the comment section below. But let us.
What do you like more, the first or the second?
I think I like the second one.
Yeah, I think they're both just as good.
Yeah, they're fine for what they are. That's it.
I think the performances wise, I just enjoy the first one more for the performances, but in terms of the story more, even though there's inconsistencies with it, I'm just gonna say the second one is more enjoyable.
All right, so let us wrap up this podcast for
this episode.
The episode, yeah, the M&K upfront, shall we?
So, you hear anything about this movie?
It's about a farmer who discovers he's sitting on the world's largest deposit of nacho cheese. Best condiment ever.
Jalapeno. Wow, that's a hot dog.
Make that 2 hot dogs. Anyway, sci-fi movies, they never win any awards.
This one will. I heard the aliens look exactly like
Pepperoni pizza? Yeah, grab me one. I'm gonna grab seats. I heard they're super comfy ones. It's like sitting on
Popcorn?
Would you like butter? You read my mind. I'll take that with a Coke.
Coke, 0 sugar.
a Coke. Coke, please.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the M&K upfront. Kristin, what is on deck for the coming week or the coming episodes?
Coming up, we have to discuss it. We just talked about it for this episode. Don't worry, darling. We are going to be discussing the film.
Oh boy.
Yes, at least my most anticipated film of the year. One of them for this year, you know, like we said, the Harry Styles, Olivia Wilde, and Florence Pugh. We got to see how this whole thing plans out. Were you guys going to watch it? Well, tune into our episode to hear our thoughts. Then we're going to follow it up with a Robert Zemeckis. I know we discussed last episode and we were going to do that next time, but I convinced Mac. We got to do it. We got to do it, folks. But we're going to do right after that Robert Zemeckis in honor of Pinocchio. Because you know, he directed the new Pinocchio and it is not doing well.
It is horrifying.
It is apparently horrifying. And
it's Robert Zemeckis. What do you expect? He did Mars Needs Mom, for Christ's sakes.
But yeah, we are going to talk Pinocchio as well. We're going to review the latest Disney Plus film, Pinocchio. And yeah, we'll follow it up some maybe interviews in between with some of your favorite actors and directors.
If we can.
If we get some new press, maybe we'll get some new Blu-rays sent in, who knows. But for now, to stay up to date with us, please follow us at the M&K Productions Instagram page, which will be linked down below, along with our other accounts. You can follow both of us on TikTok and both of us on Instagram and both of us on Twitter. And if you want to head on over to Patreon, you can sub for $1 a month. That'll help support the show, or if not, even just subscribing to the Max the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Helps us a lot. And even just, following us on all the socials. So all your sports helps, and even just listening. Thank you so much for listening, guys.
Thank you. Yes. So tune in next time. By the time this episode goes up, we will be at episode 87 when we do the next one. So it's just so much fun. A lot of good stuff happening, guys. But until then, I've been Mac. This has been Kristin, and you've been listening to the MK Productions podcast. We see you all in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Fuck you in the lane you came with. Me and you ain't on the same shit. You ain't in my lane, bitch. Nah, throw that shit in fifth. Rollie on my wrist. Ay, baby, you a star. I'm my only wish. I'm counting blue hundreds. I'm too money. Ay, and my little bitch, she too lovely. Yeah, hanging up and calling me right back. Ay, baby, why you calling me like that? Yeah, getting high with the seat, lay back. Baby, gon' relax, yeah. Hey, they don't know the half, yeah. No matter what happened, I got your back. Baby, that's the facts, yeah. That's the facts, yeah.